Hello, I'm Bunnery.
I'm Bread Mower,
and this is IFXtra. So we hope you've all had a good week. We've had a busy week, haven't we? And we've had Valentine's Day. That was cool.
Yeah.
Hope you all had a nice time. And for a lot of people, it's half term next week, so a lot of people have got a week off next week.
Oh, okay.
Well, certainly in the UK, anyway.
Mm.
So it's kind of getting towards spring, feeling it. I noticed the other night, about 5:30, it was a bit lighter than usual.
Sounds promising.
So, yeah, I think it's getting quite good. Anyway, this week we had a very different Interference and Chill, didn't we?
We did. So, those of you that watch Interference and Chill, the last few weeks has been a bit of discussion about new interactive things to include. If you haven't seen the show, it's basically Ferret normally, or myself sometimes, playing a bit of Interference, but it uses mixed play interaction stuff on the stream. So the idea is whoever's drawing, you can do things like maybe change their palette or give them extra time or disable undo. And you get to vote on which item you want to see them draw. But people have suggested some other things. So, well, why don't you add in some new stuff, like some different ways to affect the palette, and a few other suggestions as well. And then somehow this kind of spun off into what we should do is a stream where Ferret is drawing whilst I am making new interactions, and then we make those live for you to test out on her. Kind of in real time. So it was like a live development stream and the regular Interference and Chill stream. Cool. It was kind of set up as a co-stream, so you could see me in one window and Ferret in the other window. And after a few technical hitches at the start, where I was like uploading the changes to the wrong place and it didn't work, when I eventually figured out what was going on, yeah, it kind of worked. We did some stuff like at the original version of the palette changes, you could do things like restrict the palette, so it cut it down from 36 colors to 12. And we added in a random palette button where instead of just the way it previously worked, it would pick 12 random colors. It would be different each time. So you could mess with the streamer by pressing that. They then get random colors and have to work with them for a minute or two before someone else can then randomize the palette again. Or put it back to normal if they're feeling nice. But yeah, it worked really well. And we had some of the regulars watching and a few newbies as well. Nice. So yeah, I think it was quite interesting. Now we've figured out some of the detail, because yeah, you know us, we didn't do any planning. We were just like, yeah, we'll do it live, it'll be fine. Now we've figured out a few of the potential hitches. I think it would go smoother if we did it again. Yeah.
So you're not going to do it every week, though, are you?
No, it's too involved to do every week. But maybe we could do it once a month or so, if you would be interested in that. Let us know in the comments here or over on the Interference forums or Discord. If people are interested, then we might do it again. Cool. I think it's quite fun.
Awesome. Okay, you've also had some updates going through this week, haven't you?
Yeah, a couple of small Android updates, just because I needed to fix something on there, so I threw in a couple of other patches at the same time. There is now a redo button on Android, because we had that on the web version and the Windows version of the game, and I just didn't notice I hadn't put it on Android until someone pointed it out, so I've enabled that. And I've done some performance changes on Android, because we've had over the last few months a few people, only a handful, but still more than I like, saying that they sometimes run into problems where performance on Android suddenly goes really down. Like you'll be drawing a picture and you won't be able to get smooth lines anymore. Everything will sort of like be all sort of jagged. That's the technical noise for it. So I've made a change that I think should help with that. We'll have to see. I've also done a fix to try and solve the issue we were getting with some blank drawings from Android. I think it isn't actually an issue with the game. I think it's sometimes people pressing submit instead of skip and not realizing. So I've put in something to try and deal with that as well.
Okay. Cool.
So that's all good. If you're on Android, you should have the update by now, because this was a few days ago. I think it was like maybe Monday or Tuesday. So you've probably received it automatically. But if not, just search for Interference on Google Play and press the update button there. If you haven't installed the app yet, that's how you find it. Also available on Windows if you search the Microsoft Store for Interference.
Cool. Okay, now it's time to see who won this week's awards. Picture of the week this week goes to Michael RCA for A Crow Writing with a Pen. He's made it totally believable that a crow could actually write with his beak. And I love his glossy feathers too. That's amazing. And the upside down writing. Brilliant. Well done, Michael.
My favourite description this week was Axolotl plays a Lotl Golf by Sham. You know me, I always like a good play on words, and a Lotl is like a little but a lot. Nice work, Sham.
Community pick of the week this week goes to Satch Chicken for Star Trooper doing the doogie, or the doogie. I'm not sure what the doogie is, but it's got a lot of I in it. Looks very musical and quite shaky. I love that. That's brilliant. Well done. They were amazing.
Awesome stuff there as always.
Right, now we're going to see what we were talking about last week in the forums. So last week I was asking you to tell me some really good podcasts because I like podcasts. Yeah, I got into the Skewer, which is, if you've got the BBC Sound app, have a listen to the Skewer. It's very different, but very topical and very funny. I love it. But we had some interesting things. The Merry Cricket listens to the Futility Closet whilst cleaning. It's an idler's miscellany of compendious amusements.
That sounds
So I'm
quite
not
cool.
exactly sure, but it sounds awesome, doesn't it?
We should check that out.
Yeah.
They talk about weird stories and facts from history, and I learn lots of cool new things.
That's the sort of thing
I
I
like
like.
stuff where you learn random
Yeah,
stuff.
me too.
A bit like our quiz. Booba Fett says, I'm way into podcasts. I'll sort by genre.
Cool.
Real play RPG. There's a lot here. I won't read them all out. Real play RPG podcasts like Adventure Scone, Dungeons and Daddies, Queens of Adventure, Critical Role. I think I've heard of Critical Role,
I've
but
not
not
heard of those,
not
no.
the others. Comedy, My Brother and Me. Hello from the Magic Tavern. That sounds quite
that
cool.
sounds like
doesn't
fun.
it? Yeah. Some educational stuff as well. Lore, myths and legends. Ologies.
Yeah, we should listen to Ologies. That
He's-
sounds good.
He's got an ology.
Yeah.
That's a
very old advert.
retro UK joke.
Very
Yeah.
retro.
True crime. I mean, you liked
Death in Ice Valley.
Death in Ice
Yeah.
Valley, yeah. So that might be good for you.
Absolutely.
Armchair Detective. That sounds quite cool.
Yeah.
Horror stories. I see we have Night Vale on there.
Oh, yeah, we like Night Vale,
Yeah.
didn't we?
All
Yeah.
hail the glow cloud.
We haven't listened to it for a while, though. I think that maybe we should catch up.
I know, yeah. We should try and get back into that again. The Wicked Library.
Oh,
That sounds like your kind
that
of thing.
sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should check some of those out.
Absolutely. So go and check them out in the general discussions. You can get some good recommendations or recommend one yourself.
Yep,
What
the
do you
thread
listen to?
is just called podcasts. So if you have any suggestions yourself, feel free to drop them in there.
Cool. Right, now it's time to see what we're going to be talking about next week. What did you want to be when you were very small? Did you actually pursue that career, or are you still planning to? I always wanted to be a journalist or a librarian, but I became a librarian. I don't think I'm pushy or brave enough to be a journalist.
If you'd like to chime in with that, just head over to the general discussion forum. It's the pinned thread for the week, so you'll find it at the top of the thread list.
Cool. And don't forget, tomorrow night is quiz night, and we're well into season 3 now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Did you say week 8? or
Possibly,
something?
yeah.
How does that even happen?
Yeah.
If you've not seen this before, every Sunday night at 7 p.m. UK time over on our Mixer channel, mixer.com/interference, we run Zeitgeist, the interference quiz of the week. It's a bit like a TV quiz show, except instead of shouting at the screen when you know the answer, you get to play along against the rest of the audience. If you get the answers right, we'll give you some points, add them all up, and then do leaderboards.
Absolutely.
So we find out how people know, how well people know a particular topic,
Yeah.
and then an overall leaderboard for the whole show.
Okay. Last week we had a topic about Oscars, because it was Oscar night, and everyone did really badly because no one knew about the latest
And then
films.
We also had a round on theoretical physics that everyone did really well on,
I know.
which was weird.
What kind of audience do we have? Brilliant one.
It wasn't like really hard theoretical physics.
But do you know who won last week?
Go on, tell me.
Pretty Goose. And she won the week before, but she's never done it 3 in a row.
Mm.
So, can you stop her from doing it
Someone
3
is going
times
to
in a
have to
row?
get there and stop her.
Absolutely, yeah.
Goose finished in first place on
Yeah.
240. Then we had Dr. Ridout in second place on 224, and Phantom in third place on 212.
Yeah. So I wonder who'll win this week.
So pretty close there. You know, there's still a few questions in it.
Yeah,
Goose not getting a perfect round.
No,
as well.
not quite.
Perfect quiz.
Not perfect all the way through. No, almost.
I know. I think Rubberfish has this plan to
unnerve her.
Yeah,
by saying,
kind of psych her out. By going, ooh, if you do all right on this round, you'll get a perfect quiz, and then she always falters. It's interesting.
Yeah. Okay, well, I've chosen 5 interesting topics because I've chosen my favourite pictures from the game.
Each round is based on one of the week's drawing some interference. And I and the rest of you obviously don't know what that's going to be ahead of time. So it's always a nice surprise on the night. But are you going to tell us who the featured artists are?
Okay, this week we're featuring Absurd, Cody X00, Gaia 2420, HL, and Cat16. Some very interesting things.
So yeah, like I say, we don't know which picture, so we won't be able to guess the round in advance.
Nope.
If you want to find out what it is, you'll have to join us Sunday night, 7 p.m. UK time, mixer.com/interference.
Absolutely. Okay, is that all the news for now?
I think that's it, yes.
Okay, just goes to say.
Yeah, if you're not already taking part in the game, then get involved at playinterference.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at PlayIFX or on Facebook at PlayInterference. We've also now got a Patreon page at patreon.com/interference if you want to give us a bit of monthly support for the ongoing maintenance of the game, building new features, adding in new things to the quiz. And of course, if you do become a Patreon, and then or patron on Patreon, you get some cool benefits like interference supporter status. So you get replays available in interference. You can also get your own custom quiz intro shout out by Ava.
Cool.
So everyone knows when you arrive.
Yeah, that's cool.
Dr. Ridout became a patron last week, which we really appreciate. So he has his own custom shout out in the quiz. The doctor is in, yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, we do really appreciate your support.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's it for this week. We'll see you again next Saturday.
Yep. Have a great week. We'll see you next Saturday.
Bye.